Yay! Look at everybody. Come on in.
You ready to admit?
Yes, I did. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, hey, hey. Now, y'all know it is summer school. Y'all already know the rules. Go ahead and turn them cameras on because we are ready to see your lovely faces. We are ready to get into all of this juicy content for this week. We
Yes.
all love talking about our staffing and we want them to be as successful as possible. So get in the room, get your notepads, get your ink pens, tell your folks. Don't disrupt me for the next hour. I am busy. I am locked in. While we are waiting for everybody to come into the room, I need you all to drop your homework. How many of us did our homework for last week? I want you to drop it in the chat and just say me. Right now, just say me. Drop in the chat. Did you do your homework? Did we pull up the information that we needed to? And again, open those cameras if you can. Please be safe. I see some of us are driving, but make sure that we have those cameras turned on if you are in a position to do so, because we want to see your lovely faces. It has been an awesome week, and we are kicking. I hope everybody had a marvelous Monday, and we are kicking this Monday off. Hey, Javon. Javon always in the gym, y'all. Javon stay in the gym. I got to be like you when I grow up, Javon. Okay, I need to put that on my summer school assignments too. But let's see, who do we have? And also drop, where's everybody coming in from? I know we have talked to each other for the last 2 or 3 weeks, but where are you coming in from? Shout out your center, shout out your state. And then again, I'm looking for those me's. I see two me's who did their homework. Coach Brandy said she did her homework. Coach B did her homework. So who else did their homework? Hmm. We are letting everybody in. Come on in. Again, turn on those cameras. We want to get started. We want to see your lovely face. And tonight, y'all got a treat. You got me, you got Coach Brandy, but we also got Coach Tamika in the building. Coach Tamika is here and she is ready to get started with us as soon as everybody drops that good me. All righty, all righty. Coach Brandy, we ready to go? There go our homework right there. So, what did we do? Did everybody do their homework? You completed your workbook? Did you develop one future leader? Did you delegate one responsibility? Just one. Didn't have to be a whole lot. Did you develop? I remember it was more than one SOP. I know we said one on the slide, but we said we could create a few SOPs. So did we develop a few extra SOPs and then begin reviewing one KPI with your leadership team? I do want you all to drop that. What is the one KPI that you all came up with to review with your leadership team? And have you done your leadership meeting? I know I did. Today, I had a review meeting because I was out for the week. So me and my admin had us a great hot session. And then we've already established our meetings. Sheila dropped me. She said she did her homework. Keep Terry's KPI is enrollment. Samiko did all but the workbook. Okay, Samiko. I see Tiny Tigers in the chat. Tiny Tigers in Chattanooga, Tennessee. All right. Let me see those KPIs. LaShawn says she's doing enrollment. Who else? What KPI did you do for your homework? Staff positivity during tours. That is phenomenal. And it is super important because if you sour, I don't want my baby here. Zalinda said enrollment. Okay, we looking at enrollment. Sounds like some of us need to review enroll 20. All righty. Coach Brandy, you ready? I can't. Oh, there we go. Coach B, you ready? Coach Tamika, you ready?
I'm
Hey,
ready.
Jackson. All righty. Again, y'all remember turn them cameras on, notebooks ready, ink pens ready, no distractions, no cell phones, no family members. I love y'all, but we need this hour just for us. All right, Coach Tamika, it is all on you.
All right. Can I get sharing access or is somebody driving for me? Yes, you should be a co-host. Hey, 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 everybody. On this marvelous Monday. Welcome to summer school. Drop one of your magnificent things that happened today. Coach Tamika believed that every day something magnificent happens in our life. This is CMA Summer School. Before you can improve your center, you have to understand where it actually stands. Here's your leadership action plan. Did you complete last week's homework? It is important that we apply what we have learned. Did you complete the workbook? Develop one future leader. Delegate one responsibility. Delegation is important, guys. You hire your staff. The next thing you need to trust and delegate things to them. As an owner, you have to find out each person's superpower within your center so you can actually delegate. Did you create one new SOP? It's important that when you're out of your center, there's things in place that someone can follow behind and actually complete. That's what your SOPs are about. Begin reviewing one KPI with your leadership team. Hold one leadership meeting. It's important that you hold your leadership meetings. They don't have to be long, but they have to be done. So here are our CMA summer school goals. A goal is a dream with a deadline. So we must set goals that we can obtain. And here in summer school, I want you guys to share your wins, share what you're doing, share your goals so we can hold each other accountable. Assess your center. Identify your greatest strengths, opportunities, and areas for improvement. Build your improvement plan. Create a customized campus improvement plan with clear priorities and action steps. Strengthen your leadership. We should always be strengthening our leadership. Develop the system, skills, and competence to lead your team effectively. Increase enrollment and profitability. We're never not enrolling and we're never not trying to increase our enrollment and our profitability. That's why we're in business. Prepare for your best school year yet. The month of July is about proper preparation so we can prevent poor performance in the month of August. So we must plan and prepare in advance. By the end of summer school, you will be able to evaluate your center like a CEO, identifying strengths, uncovering opportunities for improvement, and making data-informed decisions. Lead with confidence by strengthening your leadership skills and creating a culture of professional excellence. Build and retain a high-performing team with practical strategies for hiring, onboarding, training, and accountability. We're always hiring, guys. We don't wait till the last minute to hire. We're always hiring. You should be interviewing every week. It should be on your schedule. All right. So choose your summer school experience. So we have different experiences that you can have. So if you have the student pass, that is great. But to have the honor roll pass is even greater because it's included all 6 live summer school sessions. Everything that's in the student pass is included. Plus, you get 12 clock hours. Plus, you get the VIP implementation and Q&A sessions. Plus, a private summer school community. Summer school graduation certificate. So if you haven't upgraded, it's okay to upgrade. And then you can also upgrade to valedictorian pass as well. So if you need to upgrade, we will drop the link in the chat so you can upgrade. And one thing about upgrading, it helps you because you can have the workbook to work along the way with us. What you'll receive inside summer school: 5 live coaching sessions, summer school workbook, campus improvement assessment, 90-day campus improvement plan, your AI resources, your templates that you need. We don't need to recreate anything. We already have them for you guys. Accountability and also the replays. How many of you know that replays are important? Because here's the deal. You hear it now, and you're getting all of the information now, but then you can go back and listen to the replay, and then other stuff start igniting, different type of motivation start happening. All right. By the end of summer school, you will also be able to understand your business finances so you can confidently make decisions that increase profitability and support long-term growth. One thing about Brandy, I call her my human calculator. Baby, she is a calculator. She can help you figure that out. That's her cup of tea. So you don't want to sleep on that. Increase enrollment and retention by implementing proven marketing, enrollment, and family engagement strategies. Leverage for AI and technology to streamline operations, save time, and work smarter, not harder. Companies are now hiring people who specifically know AI, guys. So we got to move up with the times, because if we don't, we're going to get left behind. Develop a customized 100-day campus improvement plan to help you implement what you've learned and create measurable results. It's one thing to learn it, but the next thing you need to do is implement it and apply it. So I have some announcements for you. CMA, we have a study hall that is going to take place July 31st through August the 1st in New Orleans, Louisiana. The cost for that is $599. It's a one-time payment for in-person study hall prep class, live Zoom. It's a 2-day in-person. You have your resource toolkit and templates, guided work sessions, coaching and accountability. On Friday, it'll be snacks. On Saturday, it'll be lunch. This is an in-person work session where you will work on your business and not in your business. How many of you know when you are away from your business, your mindset shifts? You get to think better. You get to brainstorm and have new ideas, especially when you in the room with like-minded individuals. I think much better when I'm away. If the noise is all gone, and when I'm in a room with other people away from the center, that's when something ignites within me. How many of you feel the same way?
I agree. And thank you, Coach Tamika. Bobby's also going to drop the link. And for you that have ever done our Lux weekends where we get together and plan and do that work, that is kind of what CMA Study Hall is. But we only have place for 12 centers, Coach Tamika. So I wanted to make sure that we reminded them of that. I love it because I will have one of my center representatives there. They'll be working on their thing. I know Coach Stacey is bringing her director. Oh, Shavonda say get in the room. She loves Lux. We hope that we see you that weekend, Shavonda, if you're not busy. So we carved out a time where we will already be in New Orleans for Leadership Academy. So don't miss this opportunity. And if you have to bring a partner or spouse, you want to bring your director, it's only $199 for the second person in your group. And that includes your meals, your materials, and everything. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that. On Friday, there is no Leadership Academy. So if you're coming in for Leadership Academy, make sure you come in around 2. And the rooms are only $129 a night. Like in New Orleans, that's an amazing deal. So the room link will be emailed to you once you register, because that's some of the questions we've been getting. Okay, Coach Tamika, I'm gonna get out your way for the next 2 slides.
All righty, guys. So the room is $129 a night, but you must register first in order to get the room link, because we only have 12 slots available. So I suggest that you take advantage of that immediately. Get in the room. Study hall is going to be great. All right. We have Leadership Academy also happened. That's our in-person intensive for your leaders. Empowering childcare professionals to thrive in their leadership roles is what happens in New Orleans for our in-person intensive. So this is where you bring your leaders. Oftentimes, our leaders get tired of hearing us talk, and we can be saying the same thing, but they can come in the room and hear Coach Tamika, Coach Stacy, Coach Christy G say the same thing, and something ignites in them. So sometimes it's better to put them in the room with different people so they can get those leadership skills that they actually need, and it really, really helps them. Also, it puts them in a room with other leaders that is experiencing the same thing that they're experiencing and helps them grow as well. So our Leadership Academy takes place August 1st through 2nd in New Orleans, and we have a coupon to where it's $300 off if you sign up your leadership team. So here's what you'll get in our Leadership Academy. It's 5 months of leadership development program. Growing to the leader your center actually needs. It's a 2-day in-person intensive, August 1st through 2nd in New Orleans. It's hands-on training, real life implementation that your team will apply while they're in New Orleans in the intensive training. Coaching plus office hours, support while you're actually doing the work, leadership resources and templates, no guessing, just plug in and lead. A VIP ticket to our conference November 12th through 15th that's held in Houston. Again, November 12th through 15th in Houston. When you stay in a room and when you stay connected, growth actually happens. When you keep your team in a room with people that are growing, it helps your team grow as well. Okay, that's why it's important that we grow our leaders. Now, that 5 month journey to develop, equip, and empower your childcare staff, your childcare leaders, you can pay a one-time payment in full, or you can take the payment plan option and pay $18.99 with a $99 deposit. So 4 monthly payments of $450. To pay in full, you save a bit and it's $16.99 a one-time payment. That's non-refundable. The intensive itinerary is Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is registration. So your team can actually fly in on a Friday or drive in on a Friday. You don't have to miss work or anything because they can fly in on that Friday night because class start on Saturday morning. Day one session, lunch is provided, and day one session is from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We start late, so everybody could kind of like sleep in, and especially if people are flying in that Friday night. Sunday from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. is Sunday prayer and worship. That's optional. And day two sessions, lunch is provided, and that starts from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it prevents you from having your leadership team from having to miss a day from the center or anything like that, because everything happens on Saturday and Sunday. If you need the link, we will be dropping the link inside of the chat. Child Care Millionaires Live. Again, it's November the 12th through 15th. It happens every November in Houston, Texas, where we have powerful speakers, practical training, proven systems that scale and build a business that grows, and powerful connections. Network with top childcare leaders. All right, our goal is simple: strengthen your center, increase your impact, and grow your profits. Better planning, stronger leaderships, and brighter futures. I'm going to go ahead on and introduce Brandy Wood Smith, our founder of Childcare Millionaires. A little bit about her. She's an educator for 26 years, full-time entrepreneur for 13 years, generated over 30 million in revenue, built a $5 million real estate portfolio, author, wife, and mother, passionate about helping people lead, grow, and build it bigger and better. And she has proven results, my babies. Let's welcome Miss Brandy Wood Smith. Unmute B Woods.
Thank you so much, Coach Tamika, for taking us through those announcements. I really appreciate that. We want to make sure that everybody was in the know concerning our events and what's going on. So we wanted to do those announcements. But y'all, I'm a teacher, so I am ready to teach, baby, teach. If you are ready for tonight, I want you to say ready. Now, we have about 40 people in. I know that there are about 78 or so people in summer school. And I think that this is one of the most important nights. So I am going to say, Bobby, can you send out one more message? Because I want to make sure that everybody can get in the room, because if you do not have the right staff in your business, baby, they will tear it up. They will tear it up. And if you believe that, I want you to put amen. 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 I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but I've walked into my business before and went, who are these people and what are they doing? There have been several times where I have like really gotten rid of and cleaned out a whole generation of staffing. And I don't know if some of you are afraid to let people go. Let me look y'all in your eye. Felicia, girl, check your text. Samiko, okay, Tamika, Jackson, Angela, Michelle. Hey, Miss Patricia, Javon. Okay, listen, I don't know if some of you are scared to fire people, but my daughter asked me about 3 weeks ago, and this is Madison. And so, this is my child who grew up rich. She's not like the other ones. I don't know where she came from. But she's working there for the summer, and she's always been there, but not as an employee because she graduated, she went to college. But she, you know how your kids been working in the center but not on payroll? That's her. And so she asked me one day, Lace, and it really caught me in my chest, like, because I think I'm a gangster. And she was like, Mama, you scared to fire people? Because these people playing in your face. Oh my God. Y'all talk about hurt, hurt, hurt. Like, just imagine your 18-year-old daughter finishing her first year of college, chin checks you. Like, I thought you was a gangster, mama. Like, not the way you be on me about my 8 o'clock curfew and I'm 18. Yes. So it chin checked me. So for the next week or so, y'all, I just kind of went in and observed this particular campus. And this campus just had staff that had been with me for a long time. I'm going somewhere with this because some of y'all need to hear this so you can move forward. And they had been with me for a long time. One of the people that I let go had been with me for 9 years. 2 of the people I let go had been with me for 5 years. And the other person had only been with me for a year. So they ran the building. Okay? Now get this. They ran the building. However, every time I would hire new staff, the new staff would not stay. Can everybody put a red flag? Can everybody put a red flag? So I would be like, okay, I mean, man, maybe something's going on with our hiring process. No, for a lack of better words, these heifers was being mean, right? They literally were working against the culture that we had established in the center. Because somebody be in my room means I can't be on the phone. Somebody in my room means I gotta wash my hands between every changing, right? Me growing means, I can't slip back and do the things that I want to. Red flags. One of the things that I always say is I love to have staff. I still have my first full-time employee. But sometimes people can expire in your organization. Now, I'm not saying that that's you, but I'm telling you that's what happened to me. Just because you are available and because you are present does not mean that you are there for my best interest. How many of you, if you looked at your staffing right now, you could identify some red flags that maybe you have been ignoring just because they have been with you for a while? If so, I want you to put time. If so, I want you to put time. Because we were told a lie, and the lie we were told was time is on our side. Oh, no. time is not on your side if you have people that are working against your policies and procedure and your culture. So for some of us, it's time to cut away dead weight, and it's time to refresh our center with people who actually want to do the right thing. Now, you may not be in this position. You just may be in a position where you're growing and not cleaning house. I don't know what position you're in, but I do know as we enter into the new school year, one of the most important things that we do is we refresh our staffing and our staffing policies, right? If you believe that it is time for you to really think about your staff, who's on your team versus who's just on your payroll, who is working the vision or who's destroying the vision, who's helping you build the right culture, who's making sure that your program is running as a quality program, you're in the right place at the right time tonight, all right? So I congratulate you for being here. Now, how many of you need more staff? If you need more staff, I want you to put more. If you have enough staff, I want you to put 0. Okay? If you have enough staff, I want you to put 0. And if you're overstaffed, I want you to put no. Just so I can see where we are. Okay. Okay, good. Now, for those of you who put no, like, I don't need any more staff, let me ask you a follow-up question. If you had to rehire those people today, would you hire them? If the answer is yes, put sure. And if the answer is no, you can put no, right? If you had to re-interview that person today, do they fit where your company is going right now? Because I'm with Coach Tamika. I feel like we should always be hiring. It's our responsibility to all, somebody put just a thumbs down. It's our responsibility to always to make sure that we are hiring. So I think that that's very important for us to make sure that we understand exactly where we are with our staffing. Tonight, I'm really excited about our lesson, but I'm doubly excited about our workbook. Before I even go to the lesson, I'm going to show you the workbook for tonight. Now, if you are on a roll and above, I want you to look at this 51 pages just for this unit. So when I tell you we are putting our all into these units because we want to make sure that you got it. At the very end of each unit, there is going to be an AI staffing, some kind of AI tool for you. So at the end of this, you're going to find some prompts about like an onboarding plan, interview questions, and already in school, because someone asked me, you already have resources in school. So I will swing to that in just a second. But for each of these activities, for your success plan, we normally start with a little assessment. You have a full workbook. So when we say do your workbook, we mean actually go through and make sure that you've done the activities in your workbook, right? Every week, we are writing you between 30 and 50 pages of resources just for that one unit. We want to, for your 27, 67 to 97, we want you to say that, okay, they over-delivered. If you feel like that we're making sure you have the right resources and we're over-delivering, we're showing up, can you just put CMA in the chat? All right? I want to make sure that we are showing up the way that we promised to show up. Actually, I want us to show up even delivering more than we said we were. The other thing, somebody asked in the chat earlier, where do I find such and such? Everything is in your school group. So shout out to our leaders board. In the last 7 days, Miss Angela is number 1 on our leader board. Miss Terry and Latanya taking up 2 and 3. Letitia, Tamika, and Coach Nat, they have the top 6 spaces. Y'all don't let them be in here alone communicating. So in school, you have your community. This is where we're talking. This is where we're dropping SOPs, giving reminders. We're dropping resources. In your classroom, it's set up just like this. All of your resources, all of your workbooks are right here. They're right here. We also added a onboarding, not just a checklist, it's actually a onboarding system. So I'm gonna move this from checklist because that's not accurate. Bobby, let's make sure that we fix the title for that. You have some staff evaluation tools and interview questions. So every single week, we're adding resources there as well, right? In your classroom, you have all of your replays. So when you click on the module, there is the replay. There's no workbook there. The workbooks are under resources, all right? So just making sure that you know how to navigate everything. Also in there, there's your calendar. So you don't have to wonder when anything is, when the VIP sessions are, everything is right here in your calendar, all right? So everything is in school. That is your home for everything. So if you're ready for tonight's class, can you put ready in the chat? Can you put ready in the chat? It looks like Michelle has a question. Michelle, right now the mics are off. So if you drop your question in the chat, we'll make sure that we answer the question. And then if we need to bring you up a little bit later, we will. But we'll try to answer the question right away. We see that you are driving. All right. So staffing success that builds your team, right? That builds your dream, right? We always talk about having a dream team. The first part of being a dream team is to be a dream supervisor. So that's why we did the session on leadership first. And now we want to come in and really talk about staffing, right? We already talked about why most child care centers stay stuck. Because us as owners, we're so busy putting out fires and being overwhelmed and marketing and hiring that we really don't get a chance to impact change. So that's why every unit we do, we're going to give you 7 to 10 days to work on that unit before we do another unit, right? So the problem isn't your work ethic. I know you guys work hard. It's your strategy. So every time we have a lesson, we're going to be talking about your strategy. Because a lot of times we're fixing the symptoms, but we need to fix the system. So tonight, we're going to talk about literally your staffing system. If you had 3 amazing employees this month, how would your building change? Like if you got rid of your, I don't want to say dead weight, because y'all, you cannot build an excellent organization on mediocre staff. I mean, it's not possible. That's just like saying, I'm going to cook with the wrong ingredients and it's going to come out right. And if you know you have mediocre staff and then you're allowing them to stay, you're not retraining them, you're not holding them accountable, you're not letting them release them to their destiny when they're not performing, you're the problem. And I hate to say it that way, but Madison, my 18-year-old, chin checked me. Mama, you allow these people to play in your face, right? And she could see at 18 what I could not see at 48. And sometimes it's just that black and white. But because we're trying to stay in ratio, and because we're trying to do this, and we want to give people a chance, and blah, 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 we find ourselves in a situation where we have people on our team that are really not moving our business forward. And for those of you who have homes, I was so proud of Miss Terry. She said, okay, I have a person coming in 2 days a week. That's your team. Also, your family that helps you clean up, set up, that's your team. Everybody's team will not look the same, but everybody's team needs to function. So how would your business change? Right? If your opener was kind and sweet, if your teachers was executing the lessons and your parents were getting the right communication and they were refreshing their rooms every week without you having to tell them, and their lesson plans were done, and they were showing up, and they were in uniform, and they were well-groomed, and they were kind, and they were polite, and they wanted to go back to school, they wanted to further themselves, how would your business change? It's a real question. So tonight we're going to talk about recruiting. We're going to talk about a selection of staff. How should you welcome your staff to give them a stellar experience? How should you develop them, retain them, and multiply them? And most of us stop at about the welcome, right? We recruit people, we hire them, we give them like a little one-day orientation, and we forget about the last 3 things. Or some of us are more advanced, and we do develop them, but we have no retention plan for our staff. We have no routine way of talking to them on a routine basis, having quarterly one-on-ones, and then multiply. How do we decide who we're going to build up to help us grow and multiply our centers, right? Out of these 6 components, which one do you think that you do the best? Recruit, select, welcome, train or develop, retain or multiply. Which one do you think you do the best? Which one do you think you do the best? Let me know in the chat. Sheila say, listen, I'm on a welcome committee. I know how to welcome them in, make them feel good. Which one do you guys think you do best? Develop and retain, welcome, select, recruit, okay? Welcome. Okay. A lot of times we do so good in that first part, and then once they start working for us, they're like, this is not what I signed up for, because we need to work on that onboarding and development. And onboarding is like the first 90 days. It's not the first 2 weeks. Okay. So this is my philosophy. We always say hire slow and fire fast. But what if we change that to hire slow, coach often, and to fire fair, right? One of our members, LaShawn, is on, and she was like, oh no, they won't do this and this, I'm getting rid of them, right? She had that firing fast down. And so when it was like, okay, so you gotta slow down. Did we do enough coaching in between to let them go? Because firing fast, when you haven't did the coach often, let me go back. Firing fast when you haven't did the coaching often, it's not going to get you the best result. So in between that hire slow, I'm going to say instead of fire fast, fire fair. But you need to coach often. How are you developing those people in your organization? So I had did the hire slow, and I had did the coach often, but Madison in her chin check made me realize I wasn't being fair to myself. I wasn't being fair to other leaders because I was so stuck in the coaching, right? There is a time where you have to say, listen, hey, I've given you my best. I tried to coach you up. You haven't done that. So either I'm going to have to coach you up or I'm going to coach you out. And having that philosophy that yes, I'm going to train. Yes, I'm going to coach, because there's a difference in coaching and correcting. But once I've coached you, once I know that you understand, then I have to hold you accountable. And that's where that fire fair comes from. Okay. So the staffing success, this is our success cycle. And a lot of us say, I just don't get enough leads. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, about the selection process. And in your workbook, for each of these, there's going to be an activity that you can do. So recruiting should be continuous. All right. You should always have a place for people to fill out an application. Do you have a place on your website for people to do an application? Yes or no? Yes or no? Your website is your number one recruiting tool, because unlike a job board or unlike Indeed, they went there on purpose. Okay. This can be as simple as a Google form. Like even when you're saying you're hiring on Facebook, you can put out a Google form that collects information. It does not have to be like expensive. It can be something free, a job form, a Google form, where they can answer a few questions so you can pre-qualify them. The best thing to do is to have something on your website where once you look at their pre-qualification, then they can schedule an interview. We don't allow them to schedule their interview until we look at the application and then we move it to qualified or non-qualified. If it's a non-qualified applicant, they get something to say, hey, we're not hiring right now, but we will keep your application on file. If we are hiring and we look and they say, okay, they have experience, they this, they that. Okay, good. Then we'll say, oh, thank you. We would like for you to schedule an interview. And they can actually go in and schedule that interview for themselves. Guess what? People like to do things on their own. So have y'all ever went to a restaurant I think Chick-fil-A does it, and they have interview days. It's like we interview every Wednesday at 3:00, right? We do interviews in our centers every Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 3. So all they have to do is once we put them on that they qualify for an interview, they get a link to schedule their interview. Now, if they don't do it right away, we'll follow up. Once they schedule their interview, we do a phone like vetting just to make sure it's not a crazy. Recruiting is building relationships. Hiring is you're filling the opening. I may meet someone that I can't hire today, but man, I met a teacher in March and she was getting into her student teaching. She was looking for a job this summer. We were fully staffed. Well, after those people disqualified themselves from working for me, well, now she was the first person that came onto my mind. So Tamika said, hey, you want to make sure you're continuously interviewing because you want to build a pipeline of people. Recruiting is future focused, right? What I may need in the future. The fact that you're going to enroll more students in the fall. Hiring is an immediate need. And when we just hire, sometimes we don't get the best result because we don't give ourselves time to find the best talent. Has anybody ever really needed somebody and you even asked like a cousin or a friend, hey girl, I know you're not working. Won't you come help me? Anybody ever ask somebody to help them? If so, put help in the chat. And I bet they helped you straight on your nerves. Because those people where we like, oh Lord, can you come help me? I know you're looking for a job. I need somebody. Sometimes they're not passionate about what they do or they feel like they're doing you a favor. Is that true? Recruiting creates options. When you focus just on hiring, you have pressure to fill that position to meet ratio. And you're not necessarily giving yourself the time you need to find the best person. Right? How many of you know you've been hiring and not recruiting? Right? So you're pressed and you just hired first thing smoking. And you're not really recruiting. You're not building a database of people who can really help you grow your company. This is the number one thing that hurts us as small business owners. Because one employee can make us lose 10 kids. I don't know if y'all ever had kids leave because of one employee. One bad employee can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. The average amount a kid in the United States is $15,000 a year. So if a teacher is sending a kid home wet, losing items, not being professional, acting up in the street, and they leave, and 5 kids leave, that teacher just cost you $75,000. And that one parent, her cousin's kids go there too. So now all 3 of those kids, that one staff member cost you $45,000 because you needed somebody to help you out. Right? So you got to change your philosophy of hiring and recruiting. You got to give it the time that it deserves. Everybody with me? Now, if this has opened up your perspective, right, I want you to begin to think about how you're going to do things different as we go through this. The cost of a wrong hire. A wrong hire can cost you stress, turnover, parent complaints, and disenrollments, right? And let's just think about how much does it cost for you to hire a person. So selecting the right person is important. So, and if you've done my classes before, don't answer, right? If you know my answer, don't answer. How much do you think it actually costs you to onboard a new staff member? If you had to put a dollar amount on it, what would that dollar amount be? How much do you think, if you put it in the chat and you've been here a long time, I'm going to come pop you in the mouth. Don't do it. Don't do it. How much do you think it really costs for that staff member? Okay. I want to know, how much do you think it costs for that staff member? Is it $100, $1,000, $10,000, $1 million? What would be your best estimate? Let me look at the chat. no numbers in the chat? I need y'all to think about it. How much do you think it costs you to truly onboard one employee? Michelle says $50K. I'm going to work for Michelle. She like to pay. Patricia said $3K. Yes, no, Tanya, you cannot answer. So Shell said $25K. Tiffany says $1,000. Okay. Anybody else? Let's drop a few more. All right. So my estimate considers all of the things. So let's look at it. You have 6 weeks of training. So you're going to pay them 40 hours. So that's going to cost you between $1,000 and $3,000. Then you have the cost of the trainer that's taken away from their job. They're spending time with this person. Then you have your background checks, first aid, CPR, materials. It can be anywhere from $2,500 to $7,500, depending on how long it takes for that person to stand on their own 2 feet and not need anybody else. So I asked you, let's just go in the middle range, $5,000. You should not hire anybody that you're not willing to just give $5,000 to off the rip. So if you're sitting in that interview, I just want you to just think about the number $5,000 and ask yourself, would I want to invest $5,000 in this person, in their experience, in their demeanor, in their attitude, the way they answer the questions? So what would you do in a 3-year-old class, if you had a student, that was misbehaving while you're doing the activity? I don't know. I'll call a director. Okay, thank you for your time. Goodbye. Right? Would you want to give that person off the rip $5,000? If your answer is no, I want you to keep recruiting. Okay? And so some people say, well, Brandy, what happens if in between interviewing and recruiting, I can't find those people? That's why we do like a 2-day prerequisite class for people who have no experience. I don't know if y'all do this, but we have like a prerequisite class for people who don't have any experience. It's about 3 to 4 hours. And it talks about childcare, the responsibility, and we make that a prerequisite for all of our people who come in fresh with no experience. If they take the class, it qualifies them to work. If they don't take the class, then I'm not going to hire them, right? And it's an internal class, and we use it as a part of their pre-service. It's just like some jobs, you have to have certain things before you work there. So either you have to have at least 6 months experience, or you need to do this 4-hour pre-orientation class for us. I know what y'all next question. Do you pay them? Right? That's what you're going to ask me, right? Why would I pay them if I haven't hired them? For this, I do not pay them. Right? So what we say is, hey, I see you don't have any experience. We have a prerequisite class to work in childcare. We do the class for free, but you do have to take it to be offered a position if you have no experience. Either they want it or they don't, right? But I'm steady filling up my pipeline. I'm steady filling up our pipeline just to make sure, all right? So let's take a minute and see your recruiting audit, all right? And I want you to make sure that you look in your workbook. I think I may have to go back to this screen. Yeah, I will, because I want to make sure that I show it real quick. Let me see. Stop share. In your workbook, there is going to ask you some questions about what do you need to do better to actually recruit. Like one of those things is if you do not have a way for people to actually do an application on your website, that's kind of hurting you. So when you go through, there's going to be some things at the very end of the workbook. I don't know what page it's on, but let me see if I can find it. Because it gives you a coaching formula, but it's at the back and it asks you about recruiting, blah, blah, blah. closing thoughts. It's some resources back here. And one of them is your recruiting audit. I may have passed it. Oh, yes, right here. Do you have these things? Do you have an employee referral program? You can take a screenshot. Do you have Facebook and Instagram messages saying that you're hiring? Do you have Indeed set up? There's childcare careers, local colleges, high school program, church. These are all places where you can recruit from. Okay. So it's going to be a little there. And it says like, how many applications do you receive? Which recruiting source produces your best result? From us, Indeed did not produce our best result. It produced quantity, right? So if we needed a lot of teachers, like right now, I need to hire 17 across my organization. It was 14, now 17. It produces quantity, but our quality applicants come through our website. So it's going to give you some information of what you need to do to recruit better. All right. Is that helpful to everybody? Yay. So I'm going to stop real quick. Michelle had a question. I want to, Michelle, is your question still relevant? It says in regards to the study hall. Oh, we only have one module. And we won't be going over the stuff in study hall, Michelle. We will be doing the stuff. Yeah. So you don't have an application on your website. We're going to be creating it and uploading it to your website. If you don't have your school calendar done, we're going to be like, okay, let's create your school calendars. If you need to create an SOP, we do it. If you need to do a mock interview so we can practice interviewing, we're going to like, let's do it. So over the study hall, she's clapping her hands. I love it. Over the study hall, each module will have a work session. And on Friday. And on Saturday, it will be like each module we'll talk about. And then on Saturday, we're just working. We're just working. We making graphics. We ChatGPT in it. We fixing Google profiles. We are working. Does that help? So study hall is not like teaching sessions. Study hall is work. All right. Yes. Yes, you have access to every workbook. We drop it with each class, Felicia. Absolutely. Yay. Okay, let's get back. So everybody good? Everybody understand? All right. So the first thing we have to do is look at how we're bringing in our employees. The next thing we have to do is we have to make sure that even in our audit, that once we get them in and we know who we want to interview, right? Then we have to make sure that we are making the best selections. So let's go ahead and go back to sharing our slideshow. So selecting the right people is so important. Now, I love people with experience. Trust me. But sometimes they have the worst habits. And I love my older seasoned workers. But sometimes they be having them old grandma hands, right? And sometimes they have that old voice we used to teach in. Hey, come on, sit yourself down. Now, don't take all of that, right? Which is so opposite than Itters and Eckers in our quality rating program now, right? So although I love them, I don't know if y'all saw the video of the lady that's going around on social media with the she's an older lady, probably close to 70, and the kids sitting with their elbows on the table, and she said, "Put your elbows down off my table," right? Stuff our grandma used to do, but you can't do that with other people's kids. You will get shot. Like, listen. So I'm very conscious about my old school teacher. But let's talk about this new generation. Generation A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Woo! It's a whole different thing too. And when you have both groups of people, Gen X, Gen Z, millennials, you have your little silver foxes, your baby boomers, all working in one building, that can be a lot, right? And so you have to decide what is your hiring criteria. So we hire based on integrity, coachability. Yes, the link to the study hall is in school. Bobby, can you drop the link to study hall? Reliability and teamwork. Now we want the character part, because I can't teach you how to be nice. I can't teach you how to be honest, but I can teach you the competence part, like experience, skills, certification, and knowledge. You know, if you have coachability, I can teach you what you need to know. And that's how we started doing our pre-orientation for our people with no experience. Even people with experience, before we give them their formal job offer, we call them back in for pre-orientation to do their paperwork. We go over the expectations of the job. We go over the prerequisites. Like, you got to have CPR. You got to take Citizen Shaken Baby. You got to take Mandated Reporter. These are things you have to do to work in the center. I need you to do these things before day one. And if it's an online class, I do pay them for the hours, right? But I don't pay them for coming to pre-orientation. Like, if they had to get a food handler certificate, that's $7, and it says 1 clock hour on that certificate, on their first check, they'll get those training hours, all right? Because that's what you guys always ask. But which one of these is harder to teach, character or competence? You have to decide for you. I'm going to hire for character every single time if I feel like I can coach the competence. Now, I have interviewed people with great character, but I could tell that they was kind and they was important, but they wasn't smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just, in an age where people don't fill out paperwork, you know, if you write your name with lowercase letters and the vocabulary, like, you can't be a teacher if you can't teach. Y'all with me? I'm trying to be rude. So I think there's some level of swiftness that they have to have. Latanya, I'm trying to say it nice. You see me over here struggling. I'm trying to say it nice. But if you can't sing me the yellow song, okay, I'm moving on. I'm moving on. So I do hire to our core values. What's my mission? One of my core values is education is key. So if you're not willing to execute the lesson plan, that's a big deal breaker for me, right? So I interview to our core values. One of the questions that I ask in every interview, I love your son. I ask one simple question that tells me a lot about their character. I said, if you had a magic wand, what is one thing that you will change about the last place that you worked? Baby, this one question, I've gotten more horror stories. Oh yeah, this last one, and I sued them and I called the state. That's a no for me. Like, I'm looking at, how do you handle conflict? Another question I ask is, has there ever been a time where you didn't get along with your coworker, and how did you handle it? This answers my core questions about character, right? Because we believe kindness is key, education is first, right? And if you say, oh yeah, I said stop talking to her, I don't need to talk to her to do my job, you know, and they start doing this, I'm like, right? So there are red flags I'm looking for in the interview. I gave you guys a list of 50 interview questions. I want you to put 50 in the chat. 50 interview questions. They don't just speak to what can they do in a classroom, but how they work with people. If they have any knowledge of childcare, right? I ask to them, what does play-based learning mean to you? I want to know what that means to them. I ask them, how much academic time do they think a 2-year-old should have, or a 4-year-old? Because I want to establish that we're not just babysitting and playing, right? And so depending on our core values, our mission, like why do we need them? Why do we as an organization exist? I decide if this person is a good character fit. And then I ask myself, can I coach them to competence? How many of you guys have been hiring from this mindset? If you have, put yes. And if you have not, put no. Okay. So this is the mindset I like to hire from, because it's my first job is to reduce threats in my organization. So if a person has a bad character, then they are more likely to cause me problems in the end. Okay. I want to make sure you guys take a screenshot of this hiring process, because I should have numbered these. Step number 4, you guys are not doing. And some of you gonna lie and say you do it every time, and you don't. Because some of y'all barely interview. So, step 1, having a way to take the application and screening the application. Most of us do that. Step 2, a phone screen. You want to talk to people on the phone and ask them some questions. Hey, how you doing? This is Miss Woods from Elite Tots Learning Academy. I'm calling to speak to Tiffany about employment. Oh, yes, ma'am. This is Tiffany. Okay. Do you have 3 to 5 minutes? I'm going to say, tell me a little bit about you and your experience. I'm going to listen. Okay. So what kinds of positions are you interested in? Because in the application, we don't necessarily ask for positions if they come, depending on where they come through. If they come through Indeed, they're posting on a particular job, but on our website, they can click, but that don't mean I really know what age group they want to work with. Oh, I don't care. I just want a job. Yellow flag, all right? Because I can go with that. Okay, well, what is there an age group you prefer? No, I'm open. Not a deal breaker for me, but I'm going to keep on going. Do you have first aid CPR? No, ma'am. If they say, no, ma'am, what's that? See? Now, y'all messing with me because you is kind, but you do have to be smart, okay? I'm going to ask them some questions. What is your availability? Right? We are open from 6 to 6. Do you have any restricted time? Oh, I go to school. Oh, I'm this. I had to get my kids off the bus. If I know that their time don't work with my time, why am I going to waste my time on a 30-minute interview? But I'm still recruiting. If that time works for me right now, I can say, oh, okay, well, we may have a part-time position available for you, or we may have a full-time position. If that time don't work with my time, I'll say, oh, okay, well, thank you. I appreciate this phone interview. Somebody will get with you to schedule an interview if the HR supervisor decides that you're a candidate. I'm very honest with them. If I do a phone interview with them and I don't interview them, we do send a courtesy email. Because again, I'm building relationships. Their situation may change later. I may have another job fair later I want to invite them to. So I don't want to ghost people. The next thing is the actual interview. And there's an art of interviewing. In Texas, we're not allowed to do people in the classrooms for long periods of time without a background check. So we don't do a working interview. Some states you can. If I could, I probably would. But what I do in the interview is, what I do in the pre-orientation is I do a classroom walkthrough. I don't do it during the interview. I don't even want them to know that much about me. It's just like if somebody I just met, I'm not going to invite them into my bedroom in my house. I feel like inviting somebody in my classrooms is just like inviting them into my house. So I'm not going to necessarily walk an interviewee around. The next is reference checks. How many of you are actually doing reference checks on each employee. If it's sometimes, you can put sometimes. If you really haven't been doing it, just put no. Because sometimes y'all are hiring crazies and their old boss could have told you that they were crazy. You could have saved yourself a lot of heartbreak, a lot of money, just by doing reference checks. A background check just says you were not convicted. It don't say you wasn't crazy. Right? And my husband probably should have did a background check on me, a reference check. Because he would have knew that in college I ran that boy over with my car. But I told him to move twice. I told him twice. See, he may have would have reconsidered being with me. A background check says you were not convicted of a crime, Zelinda. It don't say that you're not crazy. That you walked. Oh yes, girl. She walked off the job. She just left one day. And y'all done hired this girl and gave her top 10 salary and never checked a background. Never checked the reference. Now, background checks is required by DHS, but references are not. It's a lot of crazy people with clean backgrounds. Just like it's a lot of high teachers in the public school system because they don't drug test. Let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it. After you have decided to hire them, then you want to do the offer. I do the offer after we do the pre-orientation and then the onboarding process. All right. This is the 7-step process, and we really need to do 8. And I want to add pre-orientation, Bobby. So I want to update this, and between the background checks, I want to do pre-orientation, the offer letter, and onboarding. You should be giving people an offer letter that describes the position and always has other duties as assigned. So when they say, oh, I didn't know what I was getting hired to do, you have documentation. A lot of small businesses do not do offer letters. You should do an offer letter. And then you want to go through the onboarding process. Is this good? Right? We got some work to do in this process. And Linda says yes. I know this is not the fun stuff. So ask yourself, would I hire my last employee again? The last person, will I hire them again? And I want you guys to have a hard conversation with your leadership team. I want you to go through everybody and ask yourself, if I needed a person today, knowing everything I know about this person, would I hire them again? If your answer is yes, good. Have a maintenance program. If your answer is no, I want you to have a retraining program, and I want you to make sure that you figure out a way to either coach them up or coach them out. Okay? I also ask people when I check references, what is your relationship, with this person? Oh, I'm a former supervisor. I say, are you also biologically related? If they're not, they say no fast. They say, oh, no. If they are, they kind of said, no. Like, when they do that, no. Girl, that's your cousin. That's your best friend. And I'll ask them, hey, I need one more non-related reference check if I need to. Because I have been my own reference before. All right. Principle 3, welcome with purpose. The first time they interact with your organization is so important. They should have a wow factor on the first day. Before they come, they should receive an email from you. And if you go into the resources, I give you a letter that you can send to them when they're hired, before their first day, and after their first day. It's all in the onboarding packet. Say thank you. I really tried my hardest for this small investment to over deliver, because I don't want you guys starting from scratch. I do not want you guys starting from scratch. We got too much work to do, right? And that's why we did the study hall, because a lot of times we have good intentions, but we don't implement. So I want you to have the tools, and I want to make sure you have the time allocated. So orientation versus onboarding. So orientation is a one-day experience. Some of y'all be, we trained. We had orientation. Girl, that ain't training. That's one day. And you met their representative. You haven't even met the real employee yet. She ain't had her time of the month. Her baby daddy ain't made her mad. You know, she ain't forgot her phone at home. You don't even know this girl. You don't know this girl. You don't know her. You don't know her. You do not know her in the orientation. You know her representative or his representative. Orientation is about information. What you can do here, what you can't do here. Signing forms is about paperwork and introducing policies. They have not touched the kid, wiped the kid, sung to a kid, read to a kid. The only thing they know in orientation is what you expected by theory. By theory. And some of us are stopping there. And this is why we have a revolving door. Onboarding, however, is a 6 to 12 week process. It is development. It's teaching them a few things at a time and then practicing it. A few things at a time and then practicing it. Week 1, this is your goal. Week 2, this is your goal. Onboarding is about building relationships. It's about teaching them how to treat your organization. During that first 6 weeks, especially the first 2 weeks, come late. You're probably going home. Come out of uniform. You're probably going home. Because if I don't teach you from the beginning what I won't put up with, you're going to keep. Whatever I tolerate, you're going to celebrate. Whatever I tolerate, you're going to celebrate. I'm meeting with them weekly. Well, I'm not, because I'm not their supervisor. Their director is meeting with them weekly. So we have weekly meetings, and we do them on Thursdays and not Fridays now. And we do 15-minute check-ins for the first 6 weeks of all of our new employees. We go over their attendance rate. Like, okay, you have an 80% attendance rate this week. You know, we go over what new they were supposed to learn. Okay. And then around 3 or 4, when they have their own classroom, we do a classroom walkthrough with them about what they need to improve and fix. And every week we're going over their glows, what they did well, their grows, what they need to work on the next week, and their action plan. All right. 15 minutes. It will change your life. It will change your life. We don't put anybody in the classroom by themselves normally for the first 2 weeks. Terry, since you are home, I would do my onboarding like after hours or on Saturday. If you are home, I wouldn't try to do it during the day. For us, we have people that's not allocated in a classroom on training days. Leslie, she moved her orientation day off-site so she would not be distracted. We do our orientation on-site, but we have room. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So, how many of you need to work on that onboarding part? Yeah, I see a lot of hands. Can I get to school? Let me see. Bobby. I'm always calling Bobby name like she like right next to me. I think Bobby dream about me calling her name. Bobby, you dream about me? I mean, Bobby. Okay, in your classroom, under resources, I just want to show you this real quick. So y'all won't be like, okay, I gotta find it. Okay, it's a Google document. Guys, if you ask me to give you access to a Google document, I'm not. Just go to file and make a copy, and then you'll have your own copy of it, okay? That way you won't write over the original copy. If you need any help with that, you can reach out to Coach Christina. Why is this moving slow? I want to pull up this document for you while it's coming up. Zelinda says, I have a teacher who is excellent in terms of work ethic, reliability, job performance. However, I'm concerned providing parents inaccurate information about progress. Okay, so that's a character flaw. Why she lying, Zelinda? You ain't got a lot of kicking. I would talk to her about, not misrepresenting, because if the kid is not presenting that milestone, us misrepresenting can actually hurt the parents and their parenting, because it could actually make them think that their child is making progress when they're not. And I would tell them, we have a responsibility to be honest, but all kids grow at a different level. So if they haven't reached a milestone, it doesn't mean that they won't. You could just put that this milestone is in progress. Why do you think she's not telling the truth? Can somebody unmute Zelinda? Because everybody, they're muted right now. Can one of the coaches unmute Zelinda? Why do you think that she's not being honest?
I honestly thinks that she wants to feel like she's teaching the children something and that they're excelling when they're really not.
Okay, so it's vanity.
Yes.
So it's about her, not really about the kid.
Yes.
Yeah, so in this situation, I don't know if I'm frozen. In this situation, I would, in times when I'm in question, when I would like say, hey, can you, when I was working with this child, I didn't see this indicator, right? And so I want to test them with you, and I want you to see what I saw. Put it on you. And then I think, because you need to have, because if you've been doing it a long time and you haven't addressed it, can somebody pin Zelinda my computer? If you've been doing it a long time and you haven't addressed it, you need to show her an actual situation where she's did it. Because I think for me, it's like dishonesty for no reason. And if you lie about if they can recognize a letter, something that ain't even important, why would you lie about that? You'll lie about something else. And I am from that, if you lie, you will steal, and if you steal, you will kill. I'm just from that generation, because I am not a millennial, right? So I'm from that generation. So I'm always thinking, if somebody lies about something that's insignificant, that won't hurt, what else would you lie about? And for me, it's more about making sure that the parents and you guys have accurate goals for each child. Yeah, but she's a red flag for me. I know. I'm sorry, Zelinda. Because you said she's dependable, but she's not if she's inaccurate.
Yes. Can I tell you something real quick that happened today?
I would say, don't tell me she your mama or something.
No.
Okay, no. Lord Jesus.
No, you met my mom before.
Okay, I just hold on, but sometimes
No.
you be in the trap. Okay, yes, Zelinda.
But real quick today, one of my teacher's children attend there, and she wrote a daily note home for the dad. The dad looked at the note, and it says that is a toddler that's 1 year old. She's saying that he knows all the animals when he sees them, and he knows the sound. The dad looked at it and he folded it like he was mad about it. Mom, which is the teacher, she asked him over the phone, she said, what did you think about that? And he was upset. He said it was BS, and he knows for a fact that his child is not doing that, and he wish he would not lie, because it affects the children.
And it kills trust. It just kills trust. And Shavonda said her last day is. But see, Shavonda, that's because you've had a lot of red flag situations. People who lie about things for no reason scare me. Like, they literally scare me. For me to be like, girl, this is my natural hair length. Everybody know you lying, girl. Like, I'm bald-headed. Y'all saw the video. I'm working on some stuff. People know they kids, and so you lying is actually you tearing down trust with your parent. Yeah. So I mean, that's a good example that just is on time. I was trying to make it an example, not about an employee's child, to be honest, though. Okay. Oh Lord. Okay. Terry said she's gonna cost you something. It's just a way to look at it, y'all. Okay, so I have this is the wrong thing, Bobby. I don't want the employee checklist. I want the enrollment. So that's not the correct thing that we uploaded. I'm going to show it to you guys real quick. We don't have a lot longer, y'all, but can we get through everything? Because I do want to make sure that we get through everything. We have about 20 minutes. Okay. Let me move to, I know why. Let me move to my email. And I've shared this with you if you guys are in other programs, but I want you to see what you're going to have at your fingertips. And you can customize this on your own. You can also customize this when we come to study hall. Okay, training protocol. Here it is. And I also do have certificates that are already made for my campus, so I can award them certificates. We have our training number, so we can do it right away. All right, so here it is. This is it. It says CMA training schedule, baby. So this is the one we need to upload, okay? So you can insert your kid's name. This is the email that you can send to the staff. This is the email I send them the day before. Be on time. This is a warm, welcome environment. You can add what to wear, blah, blah, blah. This is the orientation, 30, 60, 90 of what we expect for them to do. Somebody's mic is unmuted. I don't know who it is. Let me mute it. Okay. This is the day 1 through 5, what I want to do with them. This is the password protocol, and then like the new hire checklist. So what she did put in there was the checklist. These are the things that they should go over with them, and they actually sign off on those things. So mine is customized with a logo. We made it where you can add your logo. You can add whatever you want to add. You can throw this in ChatGPT and tell it to regenerate it for you. Some of the things at the bottom. So here, the 514, this, if you notice, it has what the trainee should do and what the trainer should do. Because I don't want nobody saying, oh, I trained him on that. Prove it. Prove it. So what I'm doing with the directors is I'm looking at their trainer checklist. Right? Because every trainee that's been trained, not by me, is diluted. Right? Because I trained the first group. Then I trained the directors. Now the directors train the assistant directors. So it's 4 generations, sometimes 5 or 6 generations since the person that I directly trained. So you have to have a way to check your trainers, just like you check your trainees. And they're not giving them any shortcuts. All right. So I'm going to include this in the resources. All right. Y'all think that'll be useful? Okay. All right. And I'm going to knock out the last few points. And then we got some work to do when it comes to like our staffing over the next week or so. We will get it all done. Right? So wanted to make sure you know the difference between onboarding and training. So this is what the first 6 week success plan looks like. It's in your workbook. You can take a picture. Week 1 is for them to make a connection with the center. I don't care if they don't take care of no kids, because I don't have the expectation for them to take care of kids on their own week 1. Week number 2 is about them observing, being in the classroom and co-teaching. And every day we do an observation form where they look at what they saw, what they learned, because I don't want you observing and you're just sitting. We also let them know that you must be a part of the classroom. You should not be sitting. You should be actively with students. You should be shadowing the teacher. You should be inputting things on Playground. We make all of our new teachers get all of their messages approved for the first month. Week 3 is about coaching because now they're on their own. We want to provide feedback and guidance. If they are a co-teacher, we want them to emerge to the front of the class and the dominant teacher to kind of now begin observing them and giving them feedback and coaching. Week 4 is more about culture. They should be able to understand the relationships they have with parents. They should understand our core values and be living them out daily. And we should be able to celebrate some wins. They should have had their first month, 30 days of success. Week 5 is about confidence, growing ownership, giving them additional things to do, recognizing their efforts. And then week 6 is where I'm going to do that first touch point, that 6 weeks check in, and I'm going to give them their next goals and review their progress. And a lot of times people don't make it through week 6 because I'm not going to keep dead weight for 6 weeks, right? If you made it to week 6, I really think you can make it. But I don't make it easy for you to stay through weeks 1 through 6 if you're not doing what you need to do. And that's showing progress. That's not being perfect. I'm not looking for perfection during the first 6 weeks. I'm looking for progress. And when you have those touch points, those people will communicate with you more. They will tell you when they see something that they shouldn't. They will know that you are serious about your business because you took time to fully train them. So the 4 keys is to welcome, to train, to set expectations, and then to support, right? So you got to support people through that growth. There's some other things here in the workbook that you can do. So now I've hired them. They've had their orientation. What should I be doing now? I should be coaching. Coach more than you correct. For their first 90 days, it's going to be a lot of teachable moments. You should have a lot of observations. Coaching is growth, partnership, encouragement. Correction is, oh, this is your mistake. This is your write-up. This is your consequence, right? You cannot correct what you haven't coached. You shouldn't feel comfortable doing that. So you want to make sure that in that first 90 days, you're having those coachable moments. They're having training. They're having feedback. You do classroom observations. I have some people who put people in a classroom. They never do a classroom observation, and they go in, and this person has created a whole classroom dynamic that's so far off your vision, right, that you have to reteach. So you got to make sure that you're constantly in those classrooms. So a coaching conversation, what does that look like? You observe a behavior. You want to gather the facts. We talked about in the first one, facts over feelings. I don't care about how you feel. The fact is, you said that baby knew his animals and sounds. That ain't true. So I can talk to the fact. Now, my feeling is, now, girl, that's not right. You told that parent a lie. That's a feeling, right? That's not an observation. Then you want to affirm. You want to recognize strengths. You always want to give more positive feedback than negative. Then you want to coach, give providence and guidance, give an action plan, and then follow up. This is what coaching looks like. If you notice, it does not end in a write-up. It can end in a written reminder, but coaching is not to reprimand and discipline. Coaching has the idea is I'm going to grow and build their performance so we can achieve a certain result as a center, right? Now, once you coach them, once you've trained them, that's when the correction and the write-up should come in, right? So you always want to praise publicly, but coach privately. Don't be in the cafeteria and be like, girl, now you know that baby didn't know their sounds and them animals, right? There's a private conversation. We praise publicly, but we coach privately because we don't want to diminish our self-esteem. So building a team where people don't want to leave. Once they're trained and they're part of the team, you got to have that trust with your people. They got to respect you. You got to respect them. You have to have a culture of growth. You need to make sure you're recognizing the wins and that they understand the purpose. A lot of those people who've been with me for a long time, they don't want to lose because I am a great boss. I'm great to work with, great to work for, right? I love my employees. However, sometimes it just don't work out. Sometimes it just doesn't work out and you have to, but you don't want the not work out to be on your end. So you may want to take a picture of this, having that trust. I don't understand centers where they're like, well, we don't want to tell her. We don't want to. Hey, you got to be able to have crucial conversations. Employees don't leave companies, they leave experiences that they don't enjoy. And Gen X and in particular, Gen X and Gen Z, they're more likely to leave a job every 3 to 6 months. Millennials are like 2 to 3 years. So you got to watch that. Baby boomers, they don't leave, right? They do not leave jobs. Even my generation, we're more apt to stay on a job a little bit longer. But the new generation, they don't like the environment. They don't got the right vibes. They gone. So if you know that, you got to make sure that you have a great culture in your center. Okay. So let's take a look. Why would people want to work for you? There's a culture audit in there in your workbook, and you need to ask them, what would your employees say about how their work experience is? Because you have a responsibility to build a culture. And even if you're not building a culture, you're building a culture. You're just not in charge of it. Okay. And then last but not least, develop leaders who develop others. And we talked about this a lot. So once you have invested in your staff, you've equipped them, you empower them, you want to empower them to empower others, creating leaders. And that's kind of what we talked about last week. That teacher to a lead teacher, to now a trainer, assistant director, director, to maybe a regional or a multi-site leader. You want to see them move along the path, right? And then in that delegation ladder, they're going to have a chance where they don't do a lot outside the classroom. Then you may do some things with them together and then watch them and then trust them to do it on their own. I can trust you to do what I train you to do, right? If I haven't trained you to do it, no, I should not trust you to do it. But as people work for you, they should be moving up on that delegation ladder. And everything that you delegate don't change a person's title, right? Everything you delegate does not change a person's title. So one of the things that we did in your workbook, and you can take a screenshot, these are not the full ones. We gave you some AI staffing prompts. That way, if you're working on something, you can. And we also uploaded those resources in the workbook. So here's your homework for this week. You're going to complete the activities in the workbook. Hopefully, you're printing them out. When you come to, those of you who come to summer school, we will try to have them bound for you guys. You need to make sure that you review your recruiting process, where you need to strengthen it. Where do you need to strengthen your staffing system, right? If you need to schedule a coaching conversation, hey, schedule that coaching conversation. And then we're still developing that one future leader, right? That one person who is, really helping you build that business, whether it's a director, assistant director, and you may have a leader, but this is maybe someone you're on purpose developing over this summer, okay? So we're going to do some questions. I have my coaches here. Let's have some questions about staffing. Remember, your workbook is your guide, guys. There is a lot of information in there for you to work through. And we put a lot of resources also inside of the workbook. All right. Hey, Coach Tamika. Hey, Coach Christina. Before we start questions, is there anything that you want to add to this staffing situation?
I would just say, guys, don't wait till the last minute to hire. It's very important that you make your hiring process a routine. Put it on your calendar, put it on your schedule. I always say we're never not hiring because I don't want to never need no one. It's better to have the amount of staff that you need than to need them and not have them. And that way, you're not desperate because sometimes we get desperate and we hire the wrong people. But when we have a pool of people on reoccurring staff that we can hire, we're not desperate.
I love it. Coach Christina?
So Coach Tamika took part of what I was gonna say, but the other thing I'm gonna say is so that we're not hiring, well, we're not gonna hire in desperation, but also once you hire them, don't throw them in desperation because you need them. Because you can ruin the absolute best person by making them a deer in headlights in their first couple of weeks because they have no idea. And you just say, hey, you're a body. I just need you to go here. Try your best to not do that. But just be very conscious of who it is that you want when you need to hire them. I tell people all the time, it's plenty of folks, my staff, I tell them all the time, it's plenty of folks out there applying. It's tons of people. Like Coach Brandy said, you get the numbers from Indeed. It's tons of people applying. But I can't just let any old body come in here with my babies. These my babies. They your babies. So it should be the same thing. So just remind them of that and encourage your staff as they're coming in. And also for those of us who can do working interviews, because I know in our state we can. But for those who can do working interviews, let your staff know that, hey, I may have this person working in there with you, but I need you to also give me feedback on the person. Don't just think, oh, because they're coming in here, they're automatically going to get paid. I'm in North Carolina. And Coach Brandy, I saw earlier Samiko asked if you could go back 2 slides. So there's 2 slides before the Q&A. So one slide before you got to the Q&A slide.
Okay, I think Shavonda dropped in the staffing assistant. And
Okay.
Shavonda, will you drop the homework too? And we'll drop the homework in school.
All righty. But yeah, those are my tips, Coach B. This was good. You gave us everything. So it won't be so much more we can add to it.
Well, good. I want to answer questions, especially if you guys have any questions about current staff, questions about onboarding or offboarding people. We always do an offboarding interview. I terminated one sweet girl last week. And it was probably my most rigid offboarding experience because she had been with me so long. And it took me a long time because when you care about people, it's hard to let them go. But it's been so peaceful, right? So, but you do want to offboard, especially if somebody quits. You want to, hey, give them the opportunity to, hey, I appreciate you for notifying me upon getting your last check, or when you turn in your things. I do want to make sure that we have offboarding. I keep my otter on. I record all conversations on my otter. It's just protection for me. In Texas, I can record as long as one person is notified, and I can be the one person. And I want to remember what I say. Right. Babes and Tots has one. You read it?
Samiko, I was going to read. Samiko's question was first. She said, so since I'm in a home, what would you say about hiring on a as needed basis?
For me, I would say give them routine hours. Y'all know my first center was like a home. Like it was literally a home that we just used only for childcare. So we licensed it commercial, but it was a home, right? It only could take 19 students. But when we first started, we had like 2, 4, 6, then 8. Yay. But I would say if you're hiring someone on an as needed basis, at least give them routine hours. So if it's, I want you to come in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 4 to 6, or can you come every morning from opening to 9:30? That way, when you're receiving parents, you can actually receive them. Having somebody come doing just dismissal, or like Miss Terry, she hires someone just for nap time. They can help her get things done, reset the toys, clean up, do paperwork. So I would say if you can afford to at least give them 8 to 10 hours in home, I mean, that's a good little part-time gig maybe for a person. But and then as you need them more, I will plan like for my vacation or my doctor's appointments, or like for grocery shop day when I'm having groceries delivered, maybe for them to have more time. All right, we can go to the, hopefully they answer your question, Tamika. You can go to the next question, Christina.
So the next one actually isn't a question, it's a statement. Miss Teresa had an employee that falsified a doctor's note. And the young lady asked to meet with her today. Her dad made her come in and he came with her to ensure that she apologized and that he said that she represents their family and he was not allowing that. So that was what the babes and tots comment was. So kudos to that daddy. But they
Who
did
did you
let the baby
fire her?
go.
I want to know. Tamika, what would you have done if, even if the dad made her apologize? Would you have kept her?
I
Yes.
probably would have not kept her because her dad was teaching her lessons, and there's some life lessons that we just have to learn. Um, and that will be uh something she will think about for the rest of her life. Today, our kids are spoiled and they kind of just need to know the way the world operates today.
Yeah.
So she has a good parent, and I
Yeah.
would have followed his lead. She would still be, she
Yeah,
lost.
Teresa said
probably
they
would
would
have
let
put
her
her,
go anyway.
we would have put her on probation. I would have continued his teachable moment. I may have would have put her on probation.
She said she was gonna release her to her destiny anyway, but she must have wasn't that good of an employee.
Mm-hmm.
I
Ooh.
saw Zelinda had done like this. I'm not sure if she was wanting to raise her hand or not. But the next question, Sonya Hickey said, how many hours do you train in the first 2 weeks?
I do 30 hours a week the first week. Them 8 hour days wear me out and them out. I don't want to see you for 8 hours. I normally do 10 to 4. I don't want to introduce you to my parents. I don't know you. You may be crazy. You know, I've had to put restraining orders on teachers before.
That's
Child.
6 hours a day.
Yeah. You do 6 hours.
That's it.
What time do
Mhm.
you speaking?
6 hours, like 10 to 3:30 or 10 to 4:30 with you got hour 30-minute break. But when things calm down, have them coming in for that training.
Yeah, that's how I do the first week. The second week, I try to have and I do not start orientation on Monday. Hell to the no.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Nothing starts on a Monday or Friday.
Yeah,
Nothing.
nothing. I normally start orientation on a Tuesday. Sometimes I'll do it on a Thursday. If like we had a lot going on, I like to do the first week Tuesday through Thursday, and I don't even have them work on Friday. Like, cause it just always is a crazy day. And then the next week I like to when I'm done with the core paperwork, and I don't do one-off hires. I wait till I at least am hiring 2 people. I do not do orientation for one person. I do not. I normally like to do orientation for 3 to 5 people at a time. I'll send y'all some pictures. That way I'm doing it, well, CPR, all of that at the same time. But yeah. And then for orientation, the first 6 weeks, we got the lowest tier salary. And after 6 weeks, they get a first small bump. And after 90 days, or sometimes it's 180, depending on where I start, they get a next bump. So sometimes they get 2 raises in their first year because I'm not supposed to train you at the highest rate.
That was good. I do 10 to 2 or either 9:30. Shaniqua put in the chat she did 9:30 to 2. I do that. Zelinda did have a question. She said she recently expanded from operating a home daycare to running a childcare center, and she is still learning many aspects of leadership, hiring, and staff management. To be honest, I sometimes get nervous because I don't always know the right thing to say or do in certain situations. My question is, during an interview, is it okay to read questions from a prepared list and write down the applicant's answers as they respond? I want to make sure I'm conducting interviews professionally and evaluating candidates fairly.
Yes, and I put on my idle chat. Tamika, you want to answer that?
Yes, absolutely, girl. You know that we're not in our 20s no more, so we don't always remember those. So because you don't always remember those, it's best to have your list and write them down. So Linda, Eventually, you will have those questions painted in your brain, and you'll have those favorite ones that you will continue to ask. But guys, this is your business. Do whatever you need to do for you. This is why you're in business, for yourself, to make your own rules. Now, we can't make minimum standard rules or what have you, but we can go higher than that. But you're doing great. Keep following your list, and eventually you will remember them off the back of your head. Mhm.
And this resources in school, y'all. I'm telling y'all, over deliver. This is what I say when I come in, how I introduce myself, or if I have an HR person doing it. And these are all of the questions I can ask. Do I ask anybody all these questions? No. Like Tamika said, depending on the role, I choose a few questions, and then I go to the next step. I'm not interested. They need a second interview, offer the position, been in background, set up onboarding. Because sometimes I'm the second interviewer. In your situation, you guys are probably the first interviewer. I do not do a second interview for aides, but I do a second interview for lead teachers and for drivers. But aides and like those kind of people, I don't do it because I don't supervise them. But I do second interviews for anybody who I directly supervise or who could be a critical threat. So if you're driving my bus, you're a critical threat. You're a critical asset, but you're also a critical threat. But now for teachers, I don't always do a second interview. But if you're a lead teacher, you're gonna be a trainer, you got a CDA. If I think I'm gonna use you in a different way. So my directors do the interviews, they present to me a hire packet with why they want to hire, and then I decide if I should need to do a second interview. And they give me the hour transcript because now we all record our interviews. Go
Okay,
ahead.
can I add to that?
Mhm.
Zelinda, the other thing that I do on mine, I tell them all the time, I'm gonna be writing down a few questions. Don't be nervous, just make them feel comfortable. But I also write notes for myself. So how did they show up? Did they show up on time? Were they early? Like I make little notes on the corners of the paper or whatever. But then I also copy their ID because for us we have to have a copy of IDs anyway. I copy their ID on the back of their interview questions because when you go through mass hiring, you're not gonna remember what and who everybody looked like. So I copy their ID on the back of theirs or have a copy of it somewhere.
Yeah.
So those are two other things that I would suggest.
And when they come in, we give them an email. You must dress professionally. No rags, no hats, no like I tell them I won't interview them if they're not professionally dressed. The other thing is that they bring their diploma, their social security card, and their ID because I need to be moving fast. We've also had to start saying you cannot bring your child to the interview.
I had one leave them in the car.
Have the interview immediately.
In the
Immediately.
car with nobody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't even want to hire you. I don't know.
Baby, you already violating supervision.
That's
And
not
you
a red
getting the
flag.
state call on me and the
Burning.
police sitting
That
outside.
is burning. Okay, y'all, we got a few more minutes.
Couple questions. Miss Angela says she has two pregnant teachers, both due in December. When should she bring in their successors?
Now.
Right, hell yeah.
Immediately.
I love the word hell. I'm sorry, y'all.
And it looks
Because
like
people don't make it to the end of their pregnancy. Sometimes they want to, but they just don't. And so, y'all, I would not be hiring people for them. I would be personally replacing my aides. So I keep an aide on both shifts. The aide is the person who gets the next classroom. So when I'm hiring, most of the time I'm hiring to replace the aide, not to replace the teacher. Right? So if you have, I would say over 50 students, maybe 40, you need an aide on each shift. And I have an opening aide and a closing aide. That way, whoever calls in, they know they go in the classrooms first. They're cross-trained.
last question. As Linda said, she had somebody come in smelling like good old Mary Jane. And all 10 of hers didn't look like they were dressed. But the last question that I see is, what other recruitment company do you use other than Indeed? I know I will share. I personally have not figured out how it works, but if you use Gusto, there's a hiring platform in Gusto where it will broadcast out to other platforms. So if you have them or whoever your payroll company is, you might want to look into that. And I use my website and good old social media.
Mm-hmm.
You
Shabbat
got me back up?
Highly Chill, they were one of our sponsors previously. I also use that good TWC, that Texas Workforce Commission. Anybody in your state that's on unemployment, there is a job database that people can apply. You can also search for people with teaching experience, classroom experience, but you can also hold job fairs. You can let them know that you have so many positions. Sometimes they will pay for positions because they have people they want to work. And I love those. Like right now, I have 5 employees I'm not paying right now, and they get $15 an hour for 30 hours. So them programs really help.
Reach out to your community college as well, because they all have early childhood programs, or your local schools, and ask them, do they have students that need to do their apprenticeship time or what, and apprenticeship programs, but ask if they need to do any of their work study time, and they can do that with you. And that's somebody you don't necessarily have to pay because they got to do it for class. And you get to interview them for free long term. You get to see how they are and then bring them in, and they got their credentials.
Mhm. Right. Tamika, you have any other hiring source, or we got them all?
I think y'all got them all. The college students post on the boards in the college. Become a part of your workforce, because when you become a part of your workforce, like Frank said, we have interns all year long. And that's free labor. That saves like a whole lot of money. And they run job fairs to where you can set up at the workforce job fair, and you can also post your actual job on the workforce board. So that's what it is about steady working in your business. You have to get out into the community um, and network with different people.
Mhm.
And then you can hold your own job fair as well. Just hold your own job fair. Remember, don't forget that this is your business, and us in childcare, we are very creative. You're not just creative in the classroom, start thinking outside of the box. This is why attending study hall is very important, because you hang around like-minded people, and all of this stuff comes out, how you can host your own job fair, how you can find people within your community, contact your church, and all of these different things.
I love it. Well, I want to thank my 2 co-hosts for being here with us on tonight. I really hope that, like Coach Shamika said, you guys lean into study hall. It's our first time doing this outside of Lux. Lux is like a $2,500 weekend because we do content day and all that kind of stuff. So for a low investment, you can come hang out with me and Coach Christina. We're going to be the main 2 people doing it, but Coach Nat. Dr. Connie will be helping you guys a little bit on Saturday, especially with that AI. If y'all never work with Dr. Connie and AI, it's tea. It's tea. Our coaches had a pitch competition where they all pitched the idea and they would not let me win. I think I should have won because I pitched too, but they would not let me win. It was so rude how they did me. I'm gonna have to think about their character. They're competent, but their character, it was so mean how they treated me. But we all had the picture idea and they were amazing. But the way that some of the coaches used AI was to die for. So Bobby, can you drop the thing for CMA Study Hall? We have 12 center spots available because we do want to make sure people can bring a guest if they want to for the $199. The rooms are so reasonable. Once you register, you'll get the link. The tickets were reasonable to New Orleans. They have a lot of direct flights to New Orleans, but give yourself a gift of getting it done. Like spend one weekend to get it done. Oh my God. I'm telling you, you are going to love yourself. We'll kick off with a Zoom call to tell you everything that we think you should bring. We're there through Sunday, but Study Hall ends on Saturday. Leadership Academy ends on Sunday. So if you're doing both or you have a leader in Leadership Academy, just plan accordingly. But the rooms are wonderful, good price. We want to see you there. If you know you're coming, just give us a shout out. Christina will be reaching out to you guys to get you guys registered if you are coming. But we want to make sure that we need to secure a room. So we don't want y'all to wait to the last minute and be like, on July 30th, I think I'm gonna come. The Lord told me. Well, if the Lord talking to you right now, can you turn on your listening ears, all right, and go ahead and get it done? So
Drop it in the chat if you're coming, please.
so we can be prepared. We're so excited. All right, Coach Chrissy, me and Tamika, since we so young, we're gonna get off and let you do your job.
Well, listen, I'm here if anybody has any questions, but I really want to see who is coming so I know who I need to follow up with, who I need to talk to. But we already know what our homework is. We are getting in and we are working on our staffing plans. We're working on our onboarding. And again, it just makes sense to do this at study hall. Why not? Now, some of us, we need to go ahead and get it done tonight, tomorrow, in the next couple of days because we need to get those people in. But I need you to come. All right, Miss Angela, I see you. I see you, Miss Vakia. Sashelle, I see you. I'm so glad you were on tonight, love bug. We'll be connecting with you real soon. But we'll get the hotel information out to everybody. We are waiting on that link. I know a few people have been asking, but the information is coming. But go ahead and get registered and get your flights. Yeah, I know Tuesdays are the best days to buy flights. So it's Tuesday for us East Coast people in about 2 hours. For the Central people, you got 3 hours. But go ahead and start looking at those flights and get everything booked. And as soon as the link comes out for the hotels, we will release it. If anybody doesn't have any other questions, Coach B, if you don't have anything else, I think we're good for tonight. All right. Michelle, find out. We want to see you there, honey.
Yes, Michelle is going to Ghana with us too.
Ooh, I'm excited.
No,
Email about Ghana today.
I don't know when our next class is. We may have a Q.
The 27th.
So y'all got 2 weeks to do y'all work. 2 weeks to do y'all work. What's the class about on the 27th, Coach Christina?
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up.
She
Our
on
calendar. On the 27th, it is this is our favorite subject. It's the money, baby. Money matters. Money, 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 money. Okay. So on the 27th, we'll be here again, 7 o'clock. You got 2 weeks to get your homework done for tonight. And you have this week to go ahead and register for study hall. Okay. This week. Reach out to one of the coaches, reach out to myself or Bobby if you need any assistance or have any questions.
All right, good
Other
night.
than that, good night.